Yeah, that's right, people. You're locked into DJ Kat on the Big Bad Station, rrockradio.com. I have a special guest today, and his name is Casey Bailey. Before we went for the ads, we spoke about where we met, and now I think it's time to talk about an overview of yourself. Who are you, basically?
Wow, how long have we got? I am. I never know where to start. Like which one of my roles is like the. And it depends where I am. So I'm going to start with poet, because the first time you saw me I was doing poetry.
Okay.
I'm a poet, a rapper, a writer, a secondary school senior leader, and kind of at times community worker, organiser from Birmingham. Yeah, that's enough for now.
Wow. Yeah, I think you've exhausted the list there. So, why did you choose those roles? I suppose is a good question to ask.
Yeah, in fact, all of that ties together, I guess, to when I was younger. My first passion was always music, lyrics, writing lyrics. From being 4 years old, bopping around primary school saying, yo, 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 you know that it's me. No one's better than Casey B. From then, I had a passion for it and wanted to be that guy. And my dad always listened to good hip hop music, not just hip hop music, good hip hop music. Tupac, me, I chat there. And I developed this passion for wanting to write music that reflected my environment, but my environment was very negative. So 14, 15, 16 years old, I was writing angry, aggressive hip hop music, grime music. Everybody was getting killed in my songs, and that's how I felt, and that's where I was, and that's who I was, and that's what I was doing. And as I started to grow up and realise that, you know, some of the stuff that my friends were doing ain't stuff that I wanted to do, and that I had the potential, the brain to do a little bit more, I stopped writing. But something happened when I was about 17 years old. I'd said something in a lyric, and a youth that I knew was getting in some trouble. And I said to him, why did you do that? He said, it's like you said in your bar. And he started quoting me back to me as why he was messing up in his life.
Oh, okay.
I was like, mad, like that's the influence you can have with these words, like people are listening. So I kind of stopped doing it because I couldn't process that I'd had that effect on someone. Like I couldn't handle it really. So I went off to university, got my degree, and during that time I was doing some work in a community football club called Continental Star, which work with not just young people as footballers, but young people developing in underdeprived ghetto areas, growing up around gangs, around violence, and we're trying to show them different opportunities, different morals, different ways of life. And so then I kind of got into this idea of I wanted to be a teacher, and my course was kind of linked to teaching at uni, and so I trained to be a teacher, and that was about, for me, the power that you can have. So I realised that from a young age, that if you talk with confidence and you talk sense, people will listen. Yeah. And sometimes even if you talk nonsense, people will listen. Yeah. So we need more people talking to the right people. So I thought to myself, I'll go and work in prisons. But then I thought, if the youth's in prison, then something's already gone wrong. Yeah. So I thought, let me go and work in schools and try and catch the people who are slipping through the net. A year into my teaching, I had kind of jokingly said to a woman that I work with who ran like a performing arts club that I could run a poetry session for her. Okay. And she says, come on and come and do it. Did it. She sent a video off the company's linked to the Pauline Quirk Academy for Performing Arts. Okay. And the first one I ever did was in Coventry actually. She took the video to their national conference and showed it to like 100 people who run 100 academies up and down the country. And I got a call saying, could you come and do this up and down the country?
That's really good.
And that got my passion back for writing and thinking about, okay, how can I write in a way that doesn't perpetuate the same negativity that I was doing, 5, 8, whatever, however many years ago. Yeah. And that's when I started just getting into the poetry, taking in more poetry, listening to poetry, reading poetry, and then here I am.
Wow. So people out there can do it then?
100%.
Definitely.
100%. It's not exclusive. Yeah. It's not sectioned off for certain people. The only barriers are in your head. Yeah, definitely.
So when you're writing your, I don't know how you want to call it, your words, your lyrics, your songs, however you wish to describe it, what do you do? Do you write on a notepad, freestyle it?
I tend to write, so poetry I write down.
Yeah.
I write it down and I look at it. But musically, lyrics, I just write them in my head and then write them down when I'm finished. So often I'll write a song in the car. I've got like a producer sends me a beat, bad producer sent me a beat recently called Rosso. He's a boss. And I got the beat, and I was driving from somewhere far, Swindon. Driving from Swindon back to Birmingham, and I just had this beat running on loop, playing. By the time I got back to Birmingham, I'd written the song.
Wow.
Because I'm just repeating the lyric to myself, remembering the last line, coming in with another line, restart the song, repeat the lyric, add a bar, restart the song, repeat the lyric, add a bar. Next thing you know, you got 16. So okay, I'll do that a couple of times in my head. That's stored. What's the chorus? And there's no pen, there's no paper. I'm just driving my car and just getting it all down.
So did you remember it when you got home?
Yeah, stop the car, run the beat, press record on my phone, recorded it quickly. There we go. That's the beat. That's the lyric.
Wow.
I'm
So do
recording that very soon.
you also do some recordings on a CD or anything like that?
Yes, I've got an EP out that I brought out February last year called Progression.
Okay.
Progression is like 9 tracks, 1 grime track, 8 hip hop tracks, and it's about, well, it's everything it says on the tin. It's about progression from growing up in a ghetto area, seeing the kind of drama that I've seen in my life, and getting beyond that. And it's about showing the youths out there that they can get beyond that and they can do it as well. Definitely.
So at the moment, who's inspiring you?
Oof, what a question. Who's inspiring me at the moment? I'd say from a poetry point of view, my good friend Amira Saleh is inspiring me. She's phenomenal. She's just done the she just helped to close the Commonwealth Games.
Wow.
She's part of that handover. Raymond Antrobus, who I worked with on my book, he's not just a great writer, he writes about important things. So he's done a lot to tackle to champion the cause of deaf people.
Oh, okay.
In the UK but worldwide. And he does it with a way that he can talk about an issue that's not my issue.
Yeah.
And I feel passionate about it.
Oh, okay.
And that's a real skill, that's an art form, because ultimately everyone in a problem is going to care about the problem. It's how do you get people who don't have that problem to care about it, and how do you get them to support.
Yeah, I've always said you only care when it affects you.
Exactly, and it happens way too often. And so those two definitely, from a poetry perspective, are inspiring me. My brother Daps on the Map from Birmingham always inspires me musically. He's always doing something different. He's always bringing a real musical element to grime. And sometimes grime doesn't get the credit for its musicality.
Yeah.
But it's always musical. It's always very musical. So I love that.
Definitely. So I'm gonna play a song, and then after the song, would you be up for doing a poetry for us?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a song, of course, from Benjamin Zephaniah's album.
Sick.
This one is called President. Check it out.